So, welcome to my experimental video. I'm trying to do this the way that BigClive.com does it from overhead, but we'll see if it works. Right, we're going to do an on-exposing of a guitar and see what's wrong with it. I have been told that it just needs a simple setup and to examine it for faults. So we'll just do that. We'll do it step by step and see if there's anything. If we can find a zipper for a start. That's not a good start. Right. By the way, this guitar is for sale from the person who gave it to me. I'll leave the details down below. And there she is. It's like a Gibson copy. I'll put this case away over here. And there's my assistant helping me. Now, what do I see with this Gibson copy? Some body damage. I can fix that a little bit. It's quite dirty. Pickups are a bit high at the back and a bit low at the front. It has a trem, but with no trem arm. Maybe that's in the case. Pickups. Sorry, the cat's now on my shoulder. Oh, I need to look at the strings because I can't tell if the strings are equilateral the whole way down there. I'm seeing a lot of gap there, but let me just move the B string and see if that can give me any idea. These strings are lousy. Right, let me just move the B string to her. It looks like if I put the string there that the guitar neck is twisted slightly that way, so that needs to be looked at. It's a screwed on neck, so that shouldn't be a big job. Right, okay. Quite dirty. No one's tested the electrics yet, so, and it's got a crack on the, and it's cracked and loose, screw missing. Strings are very corroded. All the tuning heads are stiff and tight. The guitar strings are tuned. These are very old strings, so the owner didn't put them on, but the strings are put on the wrong way. Loose. So we're going to have a quick look around the back. Solid wood back. Not quite sure what kind of wood that is. Lots of chips and dings and all that there. Oh, they're very old-fashioned tuners, so I must look up this guitar to see what it's about. You see what is it called? It's got a 4K. Well, it's forky. Let me just see how the strings there. There's a full set of strings. So let's plug it in and see what it does. I'm going to plug that in. That doesn't feel good. Right. Lots of buzz. It's crackly switches need cleaned. Let me just see. Both pickups are working. Switches are all very dirty. That tone switch is doing anything, but it just could be dirty. Pickups are working, which is good. Switches are working. Yeah. Strings are far too low. They're buzzing at the down there, so that needs to be adjusted. Fretboard needs to be cleaned. Not too much pitting on the frets, so that's not too bad. I got a feeling this must have been played by a left-handed player because, oh gosh, the nut's far too low as well. Let me just have a closer look at the nuts there. Yeah, there's the nuts. The nut looks like it's been, well, I wouldn't want to say replaced just yet. Let me just look at it. Yeah, but there's something wrong with the nut. We'll have to see that. Looks like the tremolo still working. Okay, okay, so there's lots of little things to do to this. I think the first thing I'll do is get, well, the bridge, I'm just looking at the bridge is extremely low, so I'll look at the neck setup first before I do anything, but the bridge is very low, so it might help a lot of sins. Okay, so I'm going to switch off the camera now and I'll come back to you when I'm ready to do something. Well, in my humble opinion, looking at the video, now that I shot the overhead thing, it was a flop. I didn't like it at all. I also had the big light on, which burnt everything out, and all you could see was the baldy back of my baldy nut. So when I put the big light on, it was too bright. Might use that again some stage, but I'm going to do this now with just the ordinary lights on. I'm going to take these strings off. I have an awful feeling that these two strings are both E strings. Oh, they're both E strings, and somebody's tightened that up to an A. So, but these are going because they're in a horrible state. I was wrong about the nut. The nut just looks ugly and the string broke, even when I'm loosening it. The nut is going to be okay, it just needs cleaned up. Why I was wrong is because I noticed there's a 0 fret on it, so that's where the actual thing is working. So the nut, I'm going to file it down and clean it up, and it should be fine. So I'm going to cut all these off because they're a pain in the butt, and that's exactly what I'm doing. Cutting. What a cutting remark that is. Did I use the word film, or did I say video? Now people say film, film, and it's not film, it's film. And it's just the way that people have picked it up over the years. I wonder if any other districts in the world, like Cornwall or Scotland or any of those places, use the expression film, film. Film. I know there's a friend of a friend called Phelim O'Neill, Phelim McAteer. He's very popular in America. He's a pro-Trump man, as all common sense people are, and he began life as an Irish Republican, well, supporter, wouldn't say Irish Republican as that. But he realized that this country was crap and wasn't going to go anywhere, so he pulled out and moved off with his lovely wife partner. Look, spider webs, woo, spider webs, and a spring. That all just needs cleaned up, spider webs, right, okay. So, that's the strings off. I'm interested to know why little Georgie girl didn't come running, because every time strings get even removed, she comes tearing up to steal the strings, and I don't let her because they're sharp edges. Right, so where do you start on this? The neck. Let's run the edge on the neck to see how she's doing. See what the truss rod's like. What's up here, Doc? Now there we go. Right. Truss rod needs to be loosened because there's a little bit of a, I always get it wrong too, there's a little bit of a bow that way. Now I'll run the other ruler down the sides of the neck to see where they go to the bridge. Right, that's the camera changed around. So I'm running the ruler down the side of the neck, and it hits the stud there. Can you see that? Yeah, the stud. Let me just move it up. Stud. And if I run it down the other side of the neck, it falls inside the stud. Now you know what that means? That means that the neck is twisted that way. That way. So it needs to be brought round that way to get the neck perfectly straight. So that's that and that. The truss rod is in there. Okay. I'm going to try to fix the truss rod first. I'm going to have to switch you off again till I find out what kind of bolt or screw is in there. It looks like some sort of bolt. Okay, I'll let you know when I come back. Right, I'm going to take the neck off with an electric screwdriver. Never use an electric tool near a guitar. But these things are such a pain. They're so long, you're screwing for ages. And at my age, you can't screw for ages. So you use every convenience you can. A double entendre, boom, boom. I did say I was old. I'm not that old. I'll take off that plate. Right, okay, take the plate off. Come on, plate. Why is the plate not wanting to come off? Well, I'm not going to force you if you don't want to come off. Maybe it's glued into the thing. Right, okay. There used to be a serial number and everything on there, but it's is it well and truly gone? Let me just see. I'll hold it up to there, and maybe later on I'll be able to make it out. Just move it about there. There's some sort of serial number. Anyway, what needs to be done is this needs to be, yeah, see it can move. So I just need to move it and fix the holes. Okay. I'll probably do the frets while it's off the neck. Nut is on the end. What the hell? What the hell is that? It looks like, I can't be sure. I have a feeling that there's something missing off the end. Maybe a nut. I'll investigate further. Okay. Okay, I've had a good look at this now, and the truss rod nut is missing. There was a bolt nut there that you would turn and it would press against the metal and tighten the rod one way or t'other, back or forth, but it's missing. Now, I'm going to do nothing about it because the upper bow is so slight that I think the strings will take away the bow. Perhaps we can order another bolt for the future, but I'm going to do nothing about it now because it's pretty straight, except for it's got a little upper bow. And when the strings are put on, I think it might pull that out. So, okay. Right, you guys, you've seen me do this a million times, but so I'm going to clean and scrape the neck and oil it down. But what I'm going to do as soon as I start is I'm going to fast forward it. So you don't have to suffer the whole process. You just see it getting clean. I think what we're going to find is that it's going to go down to natural wood and not darkness. So now that I see it, it's fairly well pitted, so it does need scraped. Okay, so I have some blades here, and I'm going to start scraping and speed this up because I don't want to bore ye. They must have been drunk when they did this one, because look, they put the dot in the wrong place again here, and they filled it in and moved the dot to the right place. My goodness. Right, I'm going to stop now and give my thumb a rest because it's hard holding that, and I'll come back to it and tidy it up. So what I've done is I've scraped the board, I've leveled the frets, I've checked them for high and low, I've sanded the frets down with 600, 800 and then 1500, and I've sanded the fretboard down. I'm going to have to paint the fretboard, not paint it, but stain it, because as you can see there, they screwed up, where is it? There. They screwed up one of the holes, and that would leave a mark. They also screwed one of the holes in the other places too, but I managed to sand that out so it didn't leave a mark. So what I'm going to do now is I've already cleaned it. I'm going to put some boiled linseed oil on it. I had considered, actually just before I tell you that, I found a crack in the head that goes down the side. I don't know whether you can see that. It goes there and it goes down. You can't see it on that side, but it's on the same. So I'm going to have to put some super glue in there, see if it'll open up a bit. Anyway, let's just put the oil on this. And then after I put the oil on it and left it for a day, I'm going to take the oil off it again and wash it off as much as I can. Oh, I can't get the boiled linseed oil open. Because then I'm going to put some some black on it first, black stain, and then some high build polishing oil. So you'll see a big difference once you put the boiled linseed oil on. You see the color changing to a nicer hue. It actually would look nice to keep it on. See what he says. But the fretboard was very dry, so some linseed oil on it to get it back to. You can see how quickly that's being soaked up by the fret. What's that? Fret neck. So you can see the colors change to a nice sort of woody color. It looks like rosewood, but I haven't looked up this guitar to find out for sure what their neck's made of. It doesn't matter anyway, as long as it's playable. Right, okay, that's that done. And then I filed the nut down to, I don't know whether you can see that. Yeah, I filed the nut down and shaped it a bit, brought it down to where it should be. And now I'm just going to let that sit. And I'm going to then move on to the body. Have a look at the body now. A lot of little things need to be done to it. So there's a little complication where this wasn't tight down to the body, and I tried to tighten it and the screws were turning. So we'll have to take this off. I'm going to have to put in some hardwood little slivers in there so we get really good grip. If you just notice there, that's the earth wire peeking through, so that hole has to be cleaned up. No point in me showing you that. Okay. So that's it cleaned up. That chrome was taken off and polished. This was all polished with oil. The pickups were polished with oil. The fretboard, the switches were all done with D40, WD-40. Haven't tested them yet, but I will do. These were taken off and cleaned out. Only thing I have to do now is fix that crack. And the way I'm going to fix the crack is I'm going to put a bit of double-sided sellotape underneath it and just hold it down, because there's no point in trying to glue it back together because it's made of that plasticky stuff that's not going to hold. But the double-sided sellotape is very, very industrial strength stuff. And if I slip a little bit under there, it'll hold it together and keep it down at the same time. And I think I may have a spare screw somewhere. All right, ciao, ciao. Your guitar is looking gorgeous, but it hasn't had its final setup yet. So another day or two. Well, this is the K4 or 4K guitar. It looks a lot better now. Still got a little tiny touching up to do here, but it's in tune. I must say, the pickups are mighty powerful, really powerful. and it's all working very well. It's probably some of the strongest pickups I've seen on a guitar. Even compared to the Gretsch or the Fender, it really is a powerful pickup. It's got a great neck. It has a lovely shaped body, and it's got great playability across the whole thing. The action is actually lower than I would normally do it, but I'm going to leave it at that because it feels good. All you have to do is bring up the bridge a little bit for it, but other than that, I think it's a lovely little guitar. All the switches work. Tone control wasn't working when it brought it in, but it was just solid with rust. The volume control still needs to be worked a bit more. You can still hear a little bit of crackling in it, but it just needs to be somebody to sit and work at it and work at it and work at it and work at it, because it's been lubricated. It just needs to be brought more into the game, you know. But overall, I think it's a great little guitar. That's this pickup up here. And then it's got the bridge pickup. Lovely sound, all in all, it's a very lovely sound. And it doesn't have a trem arm, but a unique way to make a trem arm is just get a teaspoon, drill a little hole in it, and put a bolt each side. The teaspoon looks good against it. I just don't happen to have the right drill for it, but a little drill and a bolt give you a nice trem arm on it. Overall, I quite like this guitar. I'm going to give it a little more polish and then send it back to its daddy. All right? I like that. I like that tone. Let me get that back here. Sounds like some of the Beatles stuff, you know. You have to forgive the tuning. It's a brand new set of strings and they're going out a little bit, but I like this guitar. Great sustain. All right, say goodbye to this little 4K K4, 4K K4. Ciao, 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 ciao.